Hello YouTube, and welcome to Battle Family Prep, where we cover everything camping, hiking, and prep. And as you can see, we're finally back out here to do some camping. I have the OneTigris Rock Fortress tent. It's a hot tent. It says it'll fit 6 people, but with the stove inside there, it's more like about 3 people. And I do have the insert for it. I'm going to go ahead and kind of rake up the area a little bit and get some of the stuff out of the way. I'm going to set up the base of the tent, see about what I got to clean up. But I'll go ahead and get it laid out. We'll get this thing set up and do some hot tenting. Find the doors here. Get it laid out. All right. Get my stakes. I do have my hatchet somewhere in the car so I can hammer these down better. Let's grab that. Well, my hatchet's packed up in the car somewhere, so I'll go ahead and use my splitting axe. Little overkill here. It's okay. Find my hatchet here in a minute. All right. Get the center pole put together. Thing about the center pole is this bag actually goes back over it. So, poles are pretty nice, seem pretty sturdy. Like I said, this is my first camp with this tent. And the foot towards the bottom does have an adjust to adjust it up and down. The bag goes over the top against the pole, and it also gives you some spots to hang stuff up inside the tent. So, pretty cool. All right. Looks like I staked it a little too tight on this other side. Alright. Kind of a little difficult there with the big log splitting axe there. And it does come with some pretty nice pegs, actually. I don't know if we can see those. Pretty nice. I had already previously set it up in my backyard because whenever you get this tent, the guidelines are not tied. So it's best to go ahead and set it up and get all your strings put on so you don't have to when you're out here. Get this other side staked out real quick. Oh. Ground's pretty hard up here at the in the mountains, so like I said, you may have to do some adjusting. Oh, my hand. All right, and this tent does have a snow skirt around it. I'll get all the guidelines put down. And then once I get it all staked out, I'll bring you back and I'll show you the inside, and then we'll put the insert in. So I'll be right back with you. All right, guys, I got the Rock Fortress set up. Just so you know that once you put the guidelines out, you kind of do have to go around and reposition the outer stakes. But I do have both doors open. This is a double door style tent. As you can see, I'm standing up in here. So I brought out my hot stove. This is the Tiger Roar by OneTigris as well. I already had put my stove jack in. I just got to get this rolled back. I'll get the stove put in and get that all set up. And then on this side is where the insert goes. So I'll go ahead and get that put in, and then I'll bring you back once I get that in there, and you can have a look and see how it looks. But it's a beautiful day out here at Sleepy Creek in West Virginia. Very nice day. So I'll walk around a little bit and kind of give y'all the overview of where we're at. But let me get this insert put in and we'll go from there, guys. All right, guys, I got the inside in, got a few leaves on it, but it's basically a screen net. You have a stake point, and there's stake points everywhere. There's a stake point outside the tent. There's a stake point. So you pass the tie through and it goes on your stakes outside. And then on the inside, there's some little drawstrings where you can pull it tight. So all set up. I got the stove in, I got the stove jack in. I think I'm gonna turn that stove this way where it's straight that way. And like I said, I'm about to unzip this and get everything rolled up, and then we'll take a look at it with the netting rolled up. Like I said, it's just I don't have it fastened all the way up top. I just hooked it just so we could get the bottom in. But yep, it's a bathtub bottom. Keep you nice and dry if water gets under the tent, because as you know, this is a hot tent. It's made to pile snow up around it. So all right, I'll bring you back, guys, whenever I'm going to get the fire going and get some potatoes. I'll bring you back for a late lunch later. All right, guys, kind of got our mats, just kind of threw them in there, just trying to figure out if the wife and the kid are going to sleep in here. I may end up bringing mine out over here and laying a long ways, and just that way I can feed the fire. I'm not sure. I mean, they fit, don't get me wrong. But yeah, if you got a ground mat or something like that, fitting 3 people in here, you can see it's going to be tight. I mean, this is a 6-person tent. It shows them to be set up at a 45 like this for 6 people, but man, you'd be pushing it. So I think I'm kind of set up. I'm gonna I'll bring you back whenever I get the fire pit going. We get those going. I get the potatoes. I'm gonna have potatoes and broccoli cheddar soup for lunch, a late lunch, with bacon bits on there. So once I get the fire going, or whenever I'm getting the fire going, I'll bring you back. And then maybe we'll take a walk around Sleepy Creek and show you what it looks like. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get our fire going, because we got to get a lot of coals here, because we got some potatoes to cook. So go ahead and get this going. Nice little fire here. Grab some of my little stuff. I got to get a lot of coals going, because we got to, like I said, we got baked potatoes to cook for dinner. So I'm gonna need lots of coals. Let's just get this fire going. Then I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to watch me roll potatoes in tin foil. So once I get a bed of coals going and we get to go put those potatoes on, I'll bring you back, guys, and then I'll show you what we're gonna make with it. All right. So what I did, guys, was I made my log cabin to get my big wood going. I threw all my little sticks on top. Once those kind of get going and get the moisture burn off, I'm going to push those to the side and have a little fire over here so I can get all those coals so I can cook my potatoes, and then I'll just keep pushing coals over there to get my potatoes cooked. So like I said, it's going pretty good, so I'm going to find me a stick and get those pushed to the side, and then I'll bring you back when I'm putting my potatoes in. All right, guys, I got me a pretty good bed of coals. I'm gonna go ahead and get these potatoes on. Probably be 45 minutes to an hour to get those to cook. And as the wood burns down, I'll continue to scoot coals over there by my potatoes, get those done, move the coals around. I'll come back whenever I get ready to make the broccoli cheddar soup that we're going to put on top of our loaded potatoes, and I'll see you then. All right, guys. All right, guys, so there's our camp, and this is the lake that's up here at Sleepy Creek. There's obviously a little road leads down here to our campsite. But man, it's beautiful down here. Yeah, it's very nice. We'll get up here at the top of the hill. There's more campsites. They have fire rings set up. There is a boat ramp around the corner. Looks pretty kind of icy out there. I have camped up here at this end before, up here in this flat area during snow. But yeah, this little walk area just kind of goes back up. There's a few more campgrounds up that way right as you're coming in. And then the road just comes in and then circles around and goes down to where we're camping, and then it comes back up and leads out. There are some campgrounds across the lake. I haven't been over there to check it out, but I'll have to get over there and check that out sometime. But man, it's nice with all the mountains, everything else. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. I did bring, oh yeah. So I got the potatoes going and had to get me a little winter lager. So, cheers. All right, guys, I walked down here to the lake, just to the edge of it, and yeah, it's getting icy. I mean, you can see how frozen it is. Well, it's not very thick, but it goes out there quite a ways. I mean, there's a little bit over there that's still moving, but for the most part, up around here and around the whole thing, it's pretty icy. I mean, you can see the chunks of ice with the air bubbles under it. Doesn't seem that cold. I think it's, I didn't check the temperature up here in the mountains. Of course, we're up higher in elevation than we were down where we live, down by Martinsburg, West Virginia. But I mean, it's in the 30s. I mean, but yeah, this is ice. Sorry guys, I got started a little bit early. Just trying to fry up some bacon to go into the potato. I kind of forgot to hit the record button. So just frying up some bacon, and then I'll set that to the side, chop it up, and it's going to go with the broccoli soup. I'll try to rearrange the camera so you can actually see in here while I'm making the broccoli soup. Yeah, so like I said, just trying to get this bacon going. I kind of forgot all about the bacon, and then we'll see how it goes here. So all right guys, I got my bacon cooked up. My battery died on my camera. If you hear a little noise in the background, Vincent's watching Hotel Transylvania. So what I've got here is is some onions. I'm going to use the bacon grease, saute those up, get those sauteing a couple minutes, and then we'll add our minced garlic. If I can get them all out of here. Who's going? Nothing wrong with a little sauteed onions and some bacon grease. Let those saute a minute or two. Then we'll add my minced garlic. As usually, you know, whenever you go camping, you always forget something, and we forgot our flour for this recipe. So hopefully it'll thicken up and we'll be okay. No big deal. It may be just a little runny. So this is our first time using the butane Coleman. So far it seems to be working good. Like I said, this is the first time we've cooked on it, first time we've used it. I mean, it cooked up the bacon pretty quick. I'm sure it's not going to rapid boil stuff like the MSR head that goes on the isopropylene stuff, but I mean, so far so good. Not a bad little cook. I will be moving over to the fire here in a little bit because we got some chicken to cook. I got it marinating right now. Like I said, the battery died a while ago, so didn't get that stuff, but we got the chicken marinating in fajita seasoning. So we're gonna have chicken fajitas and baked potatoes with cheddar and broccoli soup poured on top of the potatoes. And I believe we made a foil pack with the peppers and onions on it. So I'll throw the foil pack in into the coals once we start making the chicken fajitas. I just need to get this soup going. And like I said, I can leave this over here and we can warm it back up right before we go to eat. So no big deal. Just let this saute a little bit. Those are looking pretty. Had to get the headlamp out. Those are starting to look a nice light golden color. I'm not sure if that's the facade of the bacon grease. Looking pretty good though. Just let this saute a couple minutes here. Alright, go ahead and starting to look pretty good. Oh yeah. Go ahead and add this garlic. Get this out of here. That's another cool thing about not hiking in and driving your car. You can make all this stuff up at home so you don't have to do as much when you're out here. But even so, we still forgot stuff. So we'll cook that about a minute. Need to get me a bottle of water so I can mix up some chicken broth. Alright guys, onions are looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken stock, which is 2 cups of chicken stock. Oh, my pan kind of slid down there. Go ahead and add me what should be a whole carrot. Just kind of guess here. Let's see. That's probably a carrot. And then my broccoli. Stir. Mix it all up here. Bring this to a boil. Oh, lost my mixing. All right, I'm gonna bring this to a boil, and then, like I said, once I bring this to a boil, I'll bring you back, and then we'll add the other ingredients, and we'll go from there. So what's happening, guys? So a little update on the camping video. I come to realize that once it gets so cold, my batteries just won't work. I had the one battery die, we put in the other battery, and before I could even get my stuff finished cooking, I took the camera and moved it around to show the grill, and the battery was already dead. I guess I'm going to have to I looked up some cameras whenever I got home. I think I'm going to end up having to get the GoPro. They make a battery that'll go down to -20. I'm not 100% sure what the temperature was up there. I didn't take a thermometer with me. But for the most part, you know, forgetting my butter and my flour, actually I used the baking grease to saute the onions and the garlic in, and then I didn't pour that out. I just made my soup, and man, did it turn out good. So one good thing, forgetting stuff made me improve the recipe of our broccoli and cheddar and broccoli soup. I did end up throwing about 9 ounces of cheddar cheese in the soup. Cooked it up. My potatoes were good and soft. They were ready to go. I poured that on top of there. I did manage to get a picture of that with my phone. My phone was even having a temperature thing pop up. I ended up sleeping with it in my sleeping bag just to make sure we didn't ruin our phones. But I'll show you the picture of the food right now. Then we did end up moving some coals over. I set up 2 rocks and put my grill on there, and we did cook our chicken breast on there. Peppers and the foil pack was good. The only thing we had was some spray canola oil. We sprayed that in there. They came out just fine. We warmed up our tortillas up on the grill. So we ended up eating what was supposed to be our lunch with our dinner. We ate the baked potatoes, and then we had chicken fajitas. It all went great. One thing I will show, so about 8 o'clock, I ended up going ahead and putting some wood in the stove, in the tent, just to kind of get a rough idea about how long, if I filled it, how long it would last. Well, I went back in there about 9 o'clock. It was very, very warm in the tent, but it was almost gone. So I did, while I went to Tractor Supply, and I ended up buying some of these. These are sawdust logs, and I put one of those in there, and it lasted about an hour and a half. So about every hour and a half I got up and put one in, but I ended up, so whenever I would throw one in, because it was just coals, I would throw in a couple of fire starters with them, and just get that log re-going without having to stoke anything up or anything like that. And about midnight, I went ahead and added 2 of these logs side by side in the fire pit, and then I threw, which these things are amazing, guys. These fire starters, I am so glad that I got these. These are, I believe these are pine, where's it say it at? These are pine fiber and paraffin wax. And I'm going to tell you guys that I put in 2 logs side by side in the fire, in the stove. I took a couple of those and threw them in there and pushed them, so there was one here, one there, and one there. I threw in a total of 3, and I just shut the door and I'd go get back in my sleeping bag, and I would hear it fire up. And I do have a picture of the stove at night inside the tent, and I'm telling you, once it gets dark and you turn off the phones and the kid quits doing his stuff, you could see that stove glowing. I'll show you a picture of it right here. Being said, so I loaded it up at like midnight, and with 2 logs, I did not start to get a little bit chilly until about 3 o'clock. Now you got to remember, I'm sleeping on the ground, just on a mat. So whenever I would stand up, the tent was very warm. Of course, heat rises, so it's going to get the coolest. So I kind of knew whenever the stove was going out, I'd get a little chilly because I was sleeping with my sleeping bag open. So at about a little bit after 3, maybe 3:15, I got up, went and used the restroom, came back. I loaded it up with 2 more logs. I made it till 6:30. We got up at 6:30 that morning, threw another log in there, cooked bacon, the rest of the bacon we had left over on top of in our pan on top of the stove. Overall, I slept warm. The tent was great for as far as a hot tent. That Tiger Roar stove by OneTigris worked great. I was really impressed with these. I mean, these things burn hot. I mean, they're pine. So, I mean, they got those logs going great. I will be getting some more of these, especially for hot tenting, but they were good getting my fire going. These are the same fire starters you've seen me start my fire with. As far as a review of the tent, it goes up easy enough, but like I said, there's no standing room in there. In the morning, we did get a chair out. My wife set a chair on that side of the stove, and I set one on this side of the stove, and we cooked up our breakfast. We had bacon, and then we made Mountain House breakfast scramblers, and we took the bacon and broke it up inside our breakfast scramblers and ate those out of the packs. But a 6-man tent, I'm gonna say no. I mean, maybe during the spring or summer, because you can raise that tent off the ground and get a good breeze, and you could probably lay in there, the way that we had it, 3 on one side, 3 on the other with no stove. But I'm 5'11", my wife is 4'11", and my son is 4'10". He's just 10 years old. So, I mean, if you had any people that were bigger than that, I can't see it. We slept comfortably, don't get me wrong, but you're not going to put a cot in there. If you put a cot in there, what I was kind of looking at is you could probably put a cot in that one side where we all slept, and that would probably be it. But overall, the tent did great. We all slept warm. But yeah, a little disappointed in the fact that they said it was a 6-man tent, a 6-man hot tent. I just can't see it. I think it would have been better if I would have brought my something that has an R rating, because we didn't take anything. The mats that we put on the ground have no R rating. The sleeping bags that we had only go down to 50 degrees. So we really were putting the hot tent to the test to see just how great it was, and it was great. I'm telling you guys, it got cold. It got so cold that the batteries in our stuff, you're getting a thermal warning on your phone. I mean, the batteries wouldn't even charge. You put them in there, the camera would come on, you'd have to load up another one to get it to retract. That's the type of thing I was dealing with. So in the future, I will be investing in, like I said, I think I'm going to go with that GoPro with the extended battery and the battery that can go down to negative 20 degrees. And we'll go from there. But overall, it was a great camp. Hey guys, I almost forgot. I had to insert this part back into the video. Sorry, but the Coleman butane fuel stove that I was cooking on, I can't believe I forgot this. Guys, that thing, as you've seen, it boiled, it did everything, but once I got my stuff in there and the temperatures dropped and the batteries wouldn't hardly work, I was supposed to bring that to a boil and let it simmer. I could not get that thing to boil. I had it full blast. So it's what I did is I ended up cooking the chicken. The 2 smaller breasts cooked pretty quick. We pulled that off. I set my pan over there and it got to boiling really fast over the coals. But as far as that butane stove, if it gets too cold, guys, that thing doesn't seem to work. And you would think with the butane being loaded up in the side and the burner being right there, you'd think it would keep it warm enough that it would keep it going, but it did not. Like I said, guys, I could not get the 2 cups of stock that I poured in, the 1 cup of, I poured in 2 cups of half and half, and 9 ounces of cheddar cheese in there, grated, and I could not get it to boil, guys. I just couldn't. I had that thing full blast, and it wouldn't even get it to a simmer. So the temperature drop really affected the butane stove. So that will not be going again on a hot tent camp or when it's going to be down that cold. We'll stick to the propane or with the isopropylene alcohol burners, something, but the butane is not going to work. The butane will work as a secondary cooking source at home or if we go on a spring or a summer camp. So, all right, back to the rest of the video. That's about all I got, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like these kind of videos and you want to see more of them, please hit the subscribe button and please like this video and share it with your friends if you know they're interested in things like this. But we'll get out and do some more tent camping, some cold weather camping. We love camping year round. And love trying out other ways to heat our tents. We've used propane, Mr. Buddy heaters in the past. The picture on this video that I showed when we were in the snow, we were using a Mr. Buddy heater with just propane. So like I said, I'll get some better gear so we can make sure that we film it and capture the whole thing. I was kind of wanting to set up the time lapse over the night and kind of show the stars and everything out there in the mountains, but it's very beautiful up there. You know where we were at, you go up one mountain down into the valley and then there's the lake, and so it's kind of surrounded by a mountain. Very beautiful area. It was nice to get out. I believe we all had a great time. So until next time, guys, stay safe. Thanks.